And out of the second handle of America's two-pronged strategy, the issue of Chinese companies listing shares on U.S. exchanges, the Trump administration is taking aim at China's transparency, or the lack of it, to be more precise. Let me start from the beginning. I'm sure most of you would have heard of Luckin coffee. For those who haven't, it's a Chinese coffee house chain that was founded in 2017. It's fast running out of luck now. In just a matter of 3 years, Luckin Coffee grew by leaps and bounds. It opened more stores than Starbucks in China. Last year, in 2019, Luckin Coffee made a grand debut at NASDAQ, an American stock exchange, NASDAQ. The company's shares surged about 50% in its debut. This was in May 2019. Exactly 1 year later, now, May 2020, Luckin Coffee is being delisted by NASDAQ. Why? Luckin shares have crashed. NASDAQ is citing public interest concerns for this delisting. It has mentioned a recent accounting scandal as the key reason, a massive fraud that was uncovered in the company's accounts last month. The company's sales for the second and fourth quarters of 2019 were exaggerated by $310 million. That's the size of the lie. In simpler words, the Chinese company lied, it faked its own transactions, a fraud that has come as a wake-up call for American investors, and a fraud that has come as fresh ammo for the US government against China. Washington is now planning to impose tougher regulations on Chinese stocks. The US Senate is considering a legislation that could bar several other Chinese companies from listing shares on American exchanges. In simpler words, they want Chinese companies to stop raising money from American investors. Republican senators are planning to submit what they call the Holding Foreign Companies Accountable Act in the US Senate. This is the name of the bill. And guess what? They have support from some Democrats this time. This legislation, the one I mentioned, has been co-sponsored by a Democratic Senator, Chris Van Hollen of Maryland. Here's what this law aims to achieve. Two things. One, Chinese companies should be made to establish that they are not state-run and they're not controlled by China in any way. Imagine that. And two, their transactions will be reviewed by an American accounting watchdog. Only after this will they be allowed to raise money in public markets. Some 600 Chinese companies are listed in American stock exchanges. Most of these companies could be at risk of being delisted if this legislation were to pass. 600 Chinese companies. America's message to Chinese cash cows is clear: come clean or leave. A message which has bipartisan support. Both the Democrats and Republicans apparently want to appear tough on China, and you can hardly blame them for it.